Oh, yes, we're back. Oh, all right. Did you just show us teeth?
I just smiled. Do you guys we call that a smile over here. Do you guys swear on this show or not?
Yes.
Yes, all the time.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yes.
This is the second time. I just want to tell you, it's the second time that we have done the Sevon show in the morning. And then you
hung out with you in the
yeah.
afternoon.
Oh,
Like
wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's
I
like
thought you
seven
were going to say
dozen.
second time
Seven
you've done
dozen.
2 shows.
No, but
Yeah,
you
okay.
specifically.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's
funny.
just you. It's literally you. And the first time when you were like, "Hey, do you want to, not do this today because you've done
Reschedule.
yeah, do you want to reschedule?" And I was like, "No, I got to learn by fire." Like what?
Yeah. Yeah, it is draining though, I find.
It's getting your social battery back is definitely difficult. I mean, you're a school teacher. I've talked about this before, like working with the public and then trying to get your like social battery back after working with the public is crazy.
Yeah. I don't work particularly hard though. So it's kind of fine. No, I would say like I expend my whatever you want to call it, social battery or whatever, with people who I think like deserve it, or with people who I want to waste my energy with or spend my energy with or whatever. And then I just don't with other people. So like at work, there are several people that I work with whose names I don't know. And I've worked with them for upwards of 5 years. And there's only like 60 something people that work in my place. So I should, in theory, know everyone's name, but I'm never going to want to. And it's no disrespect to them. I don't even know them as a person, but I know I'll never want to hang out with them. I've never gone to one Christmas party or one like Christmas drinks or one like nothing like that. It's like one of my good friends from work gave me an invite to her wedding the other day and said, I'm good friends with her and I'm good friends with her husband to be. And she said, she handed me the invite and said, now you do actually have to come to this one. And then said that her fiance said, oh, he's going to love that. Like when she was writing out the invite. And I said, oh, I actually can't. I genuinely can't go to it. I was like, I'm doing my level 2 that week. I actually won't be around. I'll be away. And she was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I actually would have gone, but I was also very relieved that I didn't have to go.
I also think it's harder if you like, I'm the type of person that if I have to socialize, I like to socialize like back to back to back to back. And it drives Garrett crazy. She's like, I don't understand how you do
can't
that.
do it.
Because for me, if I socialize and then I come home, trying to go back out and socialize is the worst thing for me. I would rather just be out and socialize and have all of the interactions for the day. Cause the minute I come home, like I want to shut down. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to just be home and not have to worry about that.
You could skip the first thing and just not go out.
Well, that too.
That's what I do.
Too. But if I have to go, like I like to do it all like back to back to back versus the break in between, because then I just don't want to do anything after.
Yeah, you have to pick yourself back up again. Like, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Once you're on the couch, you're on the couch. That's it.
Once I'm home, I'm home.
Let's say hello. Edging, if it's going to be a family show, I should probably change my name. No, I absolutely love your name. And
just change it to Edgy.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Kenneth Delap, what's up, dude? Thanks for this morning. Let the crass flow through you. Yeah, no, this is again.
Oh, sorry, Kenneth.
I'm gonna need a translator.
I'll speak slower.
No, I worked really hard on this. I watched 6.5 seasons of Outlander. I'm good. I understand everything you say.
What the fuck is Outlander?
You ever seen that show?
No.
Oh my God.
Let's look it up. Outlander.
Jeffrey Birchfield's going to be so mad at every... It's a Scottish show. It's basically
right here. Hey, Joe.
It looks terrible.
It
looks like Bridgerton. Is it Bridgerton-y?
No.
Oh.
I got it. Literally, it shows Scottish history.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's amazing. It just the first season and a half
It's
is
tough
tough,
to get
but
through.
once you get through the first season and a half, it's pretty cool.
Isn't it so frustrating that there's shows like that where you're telling someone, "Oh, I'm watching this show and it's so good." Now the first year is a slog, but after
Yeah,
that it really picks
yeah,
up, and it's
it does.
like no
Yes.
show should have that caveat going in. That, look, you're going to hate it for the first 5, maybe 6 hours. You're going to hate it, but that last hour of season 1 was amazing. Like it,
Yep.
Yeah, real
Hiller,
Matthew. Just
it
stay
just
emotionally numb and it makes everything look better. Yeah, the first season and a half, it just there's so many things that you just want to be
You're
as
like, why am I actually
why am I
watching
watching this? But
Yep.
then after that, it's fine.
yeah, Hiller and Savannah are watching the Dexter prequel, and I
Yeah.
haven't seen Dexter. And I had never told Hiller that because I was afraid he'd like kick me out of the group or something. But I actually thought my wife had seen it, and I, in hindsight, mustn't have actually asked. I just assumed she had seen it. And then about a week ago, I said, "You've seen Dexter, haven't you?" And she said, "No." And then I was like, "Oh, well, let's watch that then." Because we just finished Penguin and we had nothing else. And I was like, "Well, let's watch that." So there's like 8 seasons. And she was like, "This is overwhelming that there's 8 seasons to watch." And I was like, "Yeah, there's a sequel and then a prequel as well." And I was watching the first episode of it. And I texted Hiller and I was like, "I have 2 questions about Dexter." And he was like, "Yeah." And I said, "Does the production quality improve as the seasons go on? And then why are all the flashbacks so sweaty?" And the only thing he replied was, "No, it stays about the same." He never answered the sweat question. So I don't know, does he mean the sweat stays the same? Like, is that the answer to both questions that I asked? Or did he just answer the production quality? But like the clips, like trailers that I've seen in the past when I hadn't watched the show, they obviously weren't that good if they didn't entice me. But they always seemed like cinematic and like really high end production. And then I was watching the first episode and I was like, I could have made better choices with the
Quality.
visuals than this. Yeah, I don't know. We're like 4 or 5 episodes in and we're enjoying it so far anyway. So yeah, maybe
Dexter's
Good.
fun. It's very fun. I haven't started the prequel. I've seen the what is it? I saw the
We saw
finale.
the finale and then the
Whatever.
it's not
Oh,
the
that like new
The
blood
one
or
where
no? What
his
was the where he's old or older?
yes.
and
Yeah.
his son. It's his son that comes
Shut
back.
the fuck up! I don't know any of that stuff.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I'm not saying anything.
That was one thing they
But-
were like in one of the first, or it was maybe like episode 3 or episode 4 or something. The net was kind of closing in on him a little bit, and my wife just goes, "Well, he obviously doesn't fucking get caught if there's 8 more seasons of it." And I was like, "Yep, the sense of jeopardy is gone a little bit."
Yeah, no, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
That's the thing we worried about because I watched it when it actually came out.
Yes, and I did not.
So I worried about it. I was like, you can't like he can't get arrested. Dexter can't get arrested. That's no.
They can't find out who he is. They can't nothing. None of
But
that.
you guys don't. Okay, fine. I won't talk anymore about it, especially since you haven't seen it because it's fun. It is.
that
fun.
guy's been in like nothing else as well. I was on his IMDb. Chad Michael Murray.
Hall. See my
I can't remember what that says a lot that I can't remember what his name is. But it's like just basically Dexter and then a couple of random episodes of other stuff and a film you've never heard of and whatever. It's crazy.
I tried to watch the film you've never heard of, and also because I don't remember the name, and I was like, yeah, no, I couldn't do it. It wasn't. I was like, if you're not Dexter, I don't know if that's
when are you
a
gonna kill someone?
typecast thing. Yeah,
when are you gonna analyze some blood?
You're right. Like I couldn't do it.
But also with the prequel, I don't know. It's gonna be hard. I know he narrates it, right?
Yeah.
But it's gonna be hard to watch somebody else play him.
That's why I haven't watched the prequel.
Yeah, I don't know how
Someone
many
else plays him in the other, like with the flashbacks, like 2 or 3 other people play him in all the sweaty scenes.
Sweaty scenes. I'm okay with
like when it's him and his dad. There's like another person playing him up to a certain point, and then it's him in a terrible wig.
And it's him.
That's fine.
A terrible wig. Yes.
Yeah.
Hiller and Savon equals Siskel and Ebert. Oh God, they were good too. They were fun. They hated everything.
But do they actually talk about it though? Didn't you say that They
No,
don't actually stay on the topic
it was-
of Dexter.
Yeah, it's not like it is, but it's more like a Hiller quiz. Like he quizzes Hiller on, no, it's good. It's funny. It's fun. Okay. This I wanted, what is this? Kenneth, teen heartthrob, Chad Michael Murray. No,
To
not that
what?
dude.
To play young.
No,
Dexter?
that's
Oh.
No.
I mistakenly said his name
Oh,
Oh,
for Dexter. Who the fuck is Chad Michael Murray?
he definitely
he was the
he
young
played
teen
some
heartthrob.
weird. He was good at being the
Oh, he
weird
was
guy.
in One Tree Hill.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And what's this guy's name? What's Dexter's name? Chad Michael Scott. No,
No, Michael C. Hall.
that's so far off.
You're so close. It's great.
Yeah, I was in a different state.
How are the babies?
Good.
We haven't-
Two of them are asleep a couple of hours, and we're doing like we do a park run. It's like a 2-kilometer run every Sunday with my daughter, and like, man, she did her 15th one today, and like 1 through 14 were some of the worst moments of my life. Like, she just had, after doing them, we did that with her thinking like, oh, this will be fun, like walk a bit, run a bit, like just get her into it. She fucking hated it and was like, bargaining. There was so much bargaining, so much, come on, if we do go this far and like we'll run to that thing and then we'll walk, and then like she's crying and then you're getting frustrated, whatever. So then I was like, she needs to do like jujitsu, because the guys are always talking about jiu-jitsu and resilience and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, she just has zero resilience, like nothing. Like just packs everything in straight away. She's like, fuck it, I can't do it. I'm never doing it. She doesn't say fuck it, but she's like, I'm never doing it again.
I'm not doing it.
So she started doing jiu-jitsu. She started doing swimming lessons. She started doing gymnastics. She was kind of doing gymnastics anyway. But yeah, she did her 15th one today. I didn't encourage her once. I didn't have to say, come on, we're almost, whatever, or let's keep going, whatever. And she only walked for like maybe 20 seconds. I was really proud of her. And then we went for a walk, and then we're doing a sticker chart with my son because he won't eat his dinner because he's too tired. And then he just like fucking ruins everyone else's experience of dinner for like, he just cries and throws shit on the floor, not shit, like food. And
Yeah.
just
Shit.
complains
Yep.
and
Yeah.
asks for. Then what he does sometimes is, so we have like we've kind of set up a routine of like a bedtime snack before bed, just to tell them like, hey, you're going to bed in like 20 minutes, so eat this food and then relax, and then it's bedtime. And we'll sit down and put the dinner in front of him, and then he'll say, what's for a bedtime snack? And we're like, whoa, pump the brakes. You have to eat this first, then you have to get changed, and like all that kind of stuff. So I started doing a sticker chart. My wife was like, let's do a sticker chart for him. I was like, he's not fucking with it enough for a sticker chart. He's not going to give a shit. Like, he fucking loves it. He's got one more sticker to get. He's eating his dinner. He goes today, he's like, I've eaten my dinner every day this week. And we were like, you actually have. And I genuinely didn't think it was going to happen. But yeah, it's crazy. They're great. Then the baby is not really a baby anymore. He's sitting up and looks like he's going to start crawling maybe next week or the week after. So
Oh, there you go. Okay.
That was
it's crazy.
fast.
God, that was so fast.
Yeah. How are they
I think-
adjusting to the baby? I mean, obviously, baby sitting up and stuff, so it's been a little bit. But how was the initial adjustment when you guys first got home, and then how has it grown since?
Great. My daughter was very, very, very maternal. So she was like straight away, like wanted to help, wanted to do stuff, all that kind of stuff. My son was fine about it. And
Until he
then-
broke your computer. I'm just kidding.
Then he was, I don't know, he's just a fucking idiot. Like, he's really likable.
He's really likable.
But like, he'll go over to the baby, like now, like he'll go over to the baby and just be like, to the baby's head, just be like, doo, 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 and just like bang it, like full force finger. And then, so now we started doing, will I do that to you? Like, do you like when that's being done? And then you find yourself like poking your own kid in the head, being like, this probably isn't what parenting is. But it's like, how else do I? It's the only way he understands is to have the thing that he's done to him. And he's like, oh, that's actually shit. I don't like that at all.
I don't like it.
Yeah, he doesn't like it either. That's why he's crying. But yeah, no, he's coming around. Like it's just. I think the hard thing about him is he's big. So like my daughter's 5, he's 3, but he's like pretty much the same height as her. And then his vocabulary is insane because I think just because of her, because of hanging around with her, like she couldn't talk till she was like nearly 3. Now she's fine, but he knows just so many words and can talk so well that he appears to be older, and then we forget that he's not. So then we have these expectations of him that aren't realistic. And then he doesn't meet our unrealistic expectations. And then we're pissed off that like why is this 3-year-old child pulling our other son's arm when we're not giving him attention? And then like we're getting, and then it's only like when they're gone to bed that we're like, yeah, we probably completely mishandled that situation and we've scarred him. But anyway, we'll try again tomorrow.
You have not scarred him.
We'll try it again tomorrow. We'll probably do it again tomorrow.
That's our kid. Yeah. He's 7. He's almost 5 feet tall. You know what I mean? Like people just think he's in middle school and whatnot, and he's not. He's in 2nd grade.
Which kid? Have you got 2 kids?
No, 1.
The one I met in Crash is 7.
7?
Yes, bro.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
7.
Fuck, I thought he was like 12.
No.
he's
wow.
large. Yeah.
He's 7.
He's 7.
Jeez, he's so tall. He's a real string bean. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's just
that's the thing. He's
tall and
super skinny. He's super skinny.
Yeah.
So, yeah. 5 feet, 4'9", they say. 70 pounds. So
yeah,
he's tall.
He's tall and a string bean.
And then he probably has a vocabulary of like a 42-year-old as well.
No, he doesn't. That was the thing. It was like your daughter. He didn't really speak till he was like
3.5.
3.5.
Yeah. But now, I mean.
Oh my God, he doesn't shut up.
Oh, he doesn't shut up.
Yeah.
But
because when I was talking to him, I was like, wow, he's tall. And then he was talking to me and I was like, okay, yeah, he's about maybe 11, 12.
No.
Yeah, okay, that's crazy.
And he talks about whatever the topic is that he's like fixated on. Now it's sports. So he wants to just talk about sports all the time. And especially
you're just like sliding CrossFit stuff across the table.
Trying to like,
seen this?
Yeah. Yeah. But he wants to talk all the statistics and what does this mean and whatever. And I'm sitting on the couch with him because she'll get up and go do something real quick. He's asking me all the questions and I'm like, wrong one. I'm learning it myself. Like wrong one. And then when I can answer a question, I'll be like, hey babe, I answered a football question. I got this. Don't worry.
You should pick a sport that's new to all of you, like cricket or something. That's something that nobody's watched. Oh, it's fucking terrible, but nobody's watched it.
So boring.
Cricket.
Well,
what about darts?
I'm good at darts.
I haven't played darts in a long time.
But I haven't played. Yeah, like it's been a minute. I haven't played darts in a while.
Darts is like it's kind of like going to a driving range at golf where you're like, I'm gonna be fucking amazing at this. Like I've watched it so many times. It's just fucking child's play. And then as soon as the dart leaves your hand, you're like, nope.
It didn't go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it goes all the way over there.
Yeah.
You're like, I've got this. Like, it's center, then it goes like to the top.
Yeah, it's on a different dartboard.
Look, my wife is so excited that you're on. I have so many questions, but my wife is going to keep going. It's fine.
I just have to ask, like, what is this new obsession with everybody talking about golf? Everybody is comparing everything to golf. Everybody talks about golf. Like, what? Golf is so boring, first of all, to watch and to play. So what is this obsession with golf?
I think the Ocho. Oh, is that like
for stats? I get what you're saying. I hear you, real Matthew. I get you. Thank you.
Golf mistakenly, I'll just preface everything with that, or preface, as I'd say. Golf mistakenly is compared to it's compared to CrossFit mistakenly or irrationally, or I don't know. It's just a house of cards of kind of nonsense when you say, well, golf do it. Yeah. And it's like, I think the only logic, and tennis, and I think the only logic they have is because it's an individual sport where you're on your own and you're not part of a team. And the only sports people can think of that are also like that are golf and tennis, that you're in an individual and you're on your own. No one ever says bowling, or no one ever says like, hey, what about, fucking ping pong? Like, it's always two
Oh,
incredibly
tennis, bowling.
successful, two incredibly successful sports
Mhm.
that have been around since
Forever.
fucking dawn of time
Yep.
and have had years. Like the sales, Savannah says that statistic that the sales of golf balls are like it's billions
Yeah.
of dollars every year just in golf balls.
Oh, sure. Yep.
But yeah, and then like you always, and then people get pissed off if you say like, yeah, but we're not doing golf. And then they get annoyed and say, yeah, well, we'll never be taken seriously if we don't want, like, if we don't pay 21st place more money. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well,
Like, it's nonsense.
the comparison to Live Golf, I think that's the comparison they're making, is like the PGA and Live Golf coming together, that
But
sort
they're
of
not
thing.
coming together. They've
They're
had
not.
two deadlines. They've had two deadlines to make a deal, and both one of them was like fucking 18 months ago nearly. And then
Yep.
one of them was like December just gone by, and they've both passed by. You have other people moving over. There was an amazing quote, I think Taylor put it up in a story today, about some golfer saying, I don't know shit about golf, but some golfer was saying like, show me someone who moves over for free, and then I'll believe that it's a good league.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. If the WFP set up a league and said, here's our prize money, 30,000, 25, 20, whatever, and we're going to have one in this country, one in that country, one in the other country, or one in these two states, and then one in a different country. We look forward to seeing you there. Like, okay,
Yeah.
who's showing up for that? Like, what standard of athlete is showing up for that? And they haven't done that. They've set up salaries, which is cool. Like, it's great for the athletes. I think that's the other mistake that people are making, is they're bundling stuff in together. And they're saying that if you're not willing to give the World Fitness Project the benefit of the doubt and say, everything is amazing, I can't see a single fault with this, I can't see any problems, that somehow you're against the athletes and you want it to fail, and you want them to fail, and you want the athletes not to have money, and you want the sport to die, and you're a bootlicker of Dave Castro.
Wow.
And
Damn.
I mean, that's drama.
That's a lot of stuff.
That's some drama.
if you say anything, I've just stopped commenting on stuff, because if you say anything, that's just what comes back straight away. Is just like, oh, well, of course you'd say that. You're a bootlicker. Is like, all right, okay, whatever. So now I just kind of screenshot the comments and keep them.
That's the same thing we've all been going through for the last 4 years. If you say anything, you're racist. That's it. It's like, you're
Yeah.
just, it doesn't.
It's like that, that meme of like, I like bananas. The fuck is wrong with oranges?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I was just saying I like bananas. You
You're
hate
like, nobody's
oranges?
talking about it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why is nobody talking about grapes? It's like, okay.
That's such a perfect example, because that's how
Yeah.
it feels.
It is. It's so dumb. Like, no one said shit about grapes. Like, we're not mad at grapes. Like,
Yeah.
we just wanted an orange today. It's okay. Edging, a way to get away from your wife for 5 to 6. Oh, you're talking about golf. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I get that. My uncle does that a lot. Vindicate, what's up, dude? Always rocking it. The post Halpin made about payouts was utterly ridiculous. I did not see that. Did you guys see it?
He just put up a post basically saying that if you finish, they gave a hypothetical example, I think, on the
Oh yeah, the
games.
negative whatever. Yep.
Yeah,
Oh.
he basically worked out that you'd finish with 0 if you finish 21st. And then, like, I understand what he's trying to say, but I guess my question would be, like, okay, A, what's your point? And B, why are you making that point? So are you saying that 21st place should get $10,000, or, like, they should get something? Because 21st place at the World Fitness Project doesn't pay out. It only goes down as far as 20. So, like, if you're a contracted athlete and you finish 21st, you'll get your contract. If you're a non-contracted athlete and you finish 21st, you get nothing. So let's put up a post about that, first of all, because they're the same. Second of all is, why are you saying it? Are you saying it because you think that it's terrible? Are you saying it because you want to stir up like a bit of like aggro or a bit of like negativity or whatever? Or are you simply just presenting a fact and that's all you're doing? And there's two different responses to both of those. And then the third thing I'd say is like, who came 21st in any year prior to 2024? Tell me someone who came 21st, male or 21st female. Because I
I
can't.
have no idea. No.
And I doubt if you just said, okay, who came 21st in 2023? I doubt there's many people around who'd be able to say, oh, it was whoever, fully deserving of $9,000. You know what I mean? So I think,
I still
I
just
don't
say
know.
that I think that there's no way that this. Oh my god, I feel like I'm on around the whiteboard right now. Like I'm debating topics. And also, too, bro, in case you didn't know, we know when you put your head down to write something on around the whiteboard, like that someone's getting extra points, and when you don't, they didn't say shit. Like I figured it out. I know the code now. When you go like this, someone's getting points.
Yeah, sometimes I
we,
actually don't have a piece of paper. I have to write it on my phone.
oh
So
really?
it's probably more obvious when I have a piece of paper than when I just have my phone, probably.
I was
Yeah.
watching I mean we watched them
I'll have to start
all,
looking up.
Yep.
but
To the
but
side.
when you go like this and then someone starts talking and you look up and you start watching again, I'm like, oh, he wasn't really writing anything. That's not a real thing. But when you're writing and someone's talking and you're not like looking up to see what they're saying, I'm like, oh, that
Sometimes during
person.
the first person's answer is when I'm writing down everyone's name and like, you know, round 1, round 2, round 3, and drawing a little box so the scores can go in. Sometimes I don't even give out points. I just at the end, I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't write anything down. Oh, I don't know, 2, 2, 1, who cares?
I was all good with the last one, but I was salty watching the last one because you had Jared on. And I was
Right.
like, Pedro likes his name. He didn't like my name, and I'm Garrett, but he likes Jared. Like it's the same name.
Someone told me, I can't remember who it was. Someone said the way I say his name is entertaining, but I can't.
It is.
Jared.
I
How
don't
should
know.
it be said? Jared.
Yeah,
No?
you're right.
Yeah.
No, it's
No,
just
it
your
should be
accent is
yeah.
amazing.
Okay. Okay.
I do always love when you give Seth like a half a point. And he gets so
Oh
mad.
god,
Yeah.
that was so fun. That was amazing. All right. I don't know where we were, but Pedro's starting to look a bit like Errol Flynn. Maybe
Fucking
try him.
Errol Flynn.
Errol Flynn is the dude from Robin Hood. He was Robin Hood. That shit's amazing. Oh look, adults are in the house. Trish is in the house. Sweet. Kenneth, how pissed you want to pull? You can pull if you want to look up Errol Flynn. Go ahead, you can.
Okay.
How pissed was Pedro when the Waza workout question from the last when nobody knew what you were talking about?
No. How pissed was I with the question? Oh, well, there was two things that annoyed me about that. One was that, I mean, I
Let's
thought it
Errol
was
Flynn.
pretty. Yeah, I don't see a
Yeah.
Trish.
No, I
Is it
can
a
see it.
long face, maybe? I mean, it's a
If he
compliment, I think.
if
He's
he
not
had
like
a
a P or
beard,
anything, is he?
no.
Okay.
At least it hasn't come out yet. It might come out. I don't know. He hasn't been
Choose the
diddied
compliment.
yet.
Choose the
Yeah, yeah.
compliment
I don't know.
wisely.
Yeah, so I thought it was really obvious. I kind of thought it was like saying, like, I've painted my wall black. What color would you paint? Question mark. And then someone saying, well, if I was painting a painting, I'd paint. It's like, no, or why would I mention the color of my wall if I wanted you to paint something that wasn't a wall? Like, we're clearly talking about walls. So I prefaced it with workout, whatever, these 3 workouts have been released, or 2 workouts, whatever it was, have been released. You know, what else should we see announced? And then 2 of the 3 people misread the question, I think, or misinterpreted the question. That is my fault. Like, I should be clearer. But they're both fucking stupid. And the other annoying thing was that I was waiting to go live. Spin was on, and I was talking to him, and then I said, "Oh fuck!" And he was like, "What?" And I said, "Fucking want to please announce another workout like just before we started." And then Spin looked at the workout. I was like, "Fuck!" I was kind of going to say some of that stuff, so it made it worse. But yeah, no, that's probably the hardest thing about that. Initially, the hardest thing about that show is getting 3 new people every week. And then getting people who want to commit to 2, maybe 3 weeks or whatever. And then another hard thing about it was or is still, is the fucking topics. Like, it's so hard
Yeah.
it's kind of a bit easier now, but there was a dead period where it was like, right, like nothing is happening. And
Do
I
you
have
need
to come up
something to
with,
be in the yeah, you need something to be in the news, right? To be
yeah.
able to
And
create yeah.
all they were talking about was Lazar. It was like, cool, do I do another death question? Or like, you know, do I kind of pick
Yes.
a different topic? It's like I've
Mhm.
done, like we've talked about
Yeah, you
like Castro or CrossFit or something, like ever. It's like kind of, you know, I was going to say flogging a dead horse, but maybe that's
it
insensitive. Um, but you know, it's kind of like we've talked about this a lot. Like, probably need to move on to something else. So I was kind of glad when qualifiers started back, and you know, like all that kind of stuff made it a bit easier.
you your your interviews are so good, dude. Like it's amazing to watch you work when you put out these interviews and only because it's the same kind of thing you people are vulnerable in a way and you want to talk to them and you build this relationship with them while you're in the midst of the interview. And it's like an hour and a half, 2-hour interview and that is not an easy thing to do. So
Yeah,
I'm just is there a plan when you go into these? I mean, the Vellner episode and the Dallin episode were the most like I can see you working. Like just to build that relationship with them and to be
yeah.
able
It's funny. Like, I think I don't like compliments. But
sorry,
thanks.
you suck.
Um, thanks. That's better. No, I think there's definitely like I definitely work with Pat because I operate on the assumption that Pat thinks I'm an asshole. So then I have to fight against that tide the entire time I'm talking to him, and sometimes I lose.
Really?
Um,
Because you guys have known each other for a long time. You've talked to
yeah,
each
no,
other
I
for a
think
long
like
time.
you know, I think we have a good relationship. I don't know, you'd have to ask him, but I think we have a good relationship. Like, I enjoy talking to him, and I enjoy, like, you know, there's just there's different types of people, and I have to remind myself as well that, like, when I'm somewhere and someone comes up to me, like someone, this is going to sound like it's really eating away at me, and it's not. But someone commented on a Reddit post like that. I searched my own name on Reddit because I'm a fucking retard.
Why?
Why
Oh
do you
no.
all do that? Don't you all
I don't
do
know.
that?
It's just, it's like a morbid curiosity. It's just like, I wonder if someone said something really bad about me, like something I cannot correct, like something about my eye or nose or something that I can't fix
Mhm.
that will haunt me. Um, so yeah, I saw, and someone said, "Oh, I met him, and he was like, I can't remember the exact wording, but it was basically like, I met him, and he was a complete asshole." And I was like, I really don't think I would be. Like, at most, I'd be disinterested. Like, I'd, you know, just be like, "Hey," and like that'd be it. That goes back to the social battery thing.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
but a lot of times, I think if someone comes up and talks to me at something, I assume that they don't really want to, like, that it's like, oh, I better say hello. And like, that's just kind of a story I tell myself, I think, that they come over and they're like, "Hey, how are you?" And then I'm in my head, I'm like, well, I don't want to take up their time. I don't want to keep them. So I just say like, "Oh, good, thanks." And then I kind of leave it at that. But then there's
Oh
like
my
an
god,
awkward,
that's how I felt when we spoke at Crash. I literally felt like that. Ask my wife. I was like, "Does he not you don't have to
oh, I
talk to
just
me,
operate
like,
on
it's
the assumption
fine."
that like people
And
that, like, it's
and
just,
I
I
was
don't
doing the
know.
same thing. I was just like, "Hey, go back to doing whatever you're doing. You don't have to sit here and,
Right.
oh, did we have an awkward moment together? We figured it
No,
out."
I don't find it awkward. Like, I kind of don't really find anything awkward. Um,
I know.
but yeah, I don't know. I kind of assume if someone comes over and talks to me, I kind of assume like, obviously they want to talk to me because they're coming over to me, but I just kind of assume like, oh, I don't really want to waste much of their time. Like, maybe I'll just, so they'll say hello, how are you, and, or whatever, and I'll greet them back and then say good, thanks, and then I'll just kind of wait. And then if
See if there's a
they
Yes,
say
follow-up
something else,
question.
that
I'll
was our
engage.
interaction. That was the interaction we
Yeah,
had.
but like, but in my defense, so you come over to me and you
No, you
say,
came to me, just
well,
so
you kind of
everybody knows. You
beckon
We
me
came over,
over,
waved.
I
we
thought,
We
no,
waved.
waved.
yeah, there you go. Um, but like, if I don't know, I kind of feel like if the, so like, okay, if you go up to um what's the name of that? Errol Flynn, right? You walk up to Errol Flynn. I was trying to think of a celebrity, and I was like, I don't want to put myself on a par with someone, and then people think, wow, he's got an ego. So if you walk up to Errol Flynn and say, hey, you are Robin Hood, and then he says, yes, what happens next? Is that there's a responsibility with him to continue the conversation or with you to continue the conversation?
Oh, that's a good point,
point,
dude.
yeah.
Good point.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
fair.
like I'd say it's of the approacher or the person that's they're coming up to you. So sometimes people come up to me and say, hey, how are you? And I'll say, oh, cool, thanks. Good, like whatever. And then that didn't make any sense. And then they'll say, oh, I really like your show. And I'll say, thanks, really appreciate that.
Who goes next?
Yeah,
Right.
am I supposed to go next? Am I supposed to say like, do you do a show? Like, what's the, I like your show too. Like, what's the correct response to that? The correct reciprocation. So if I'm at an event or something, I say, oh, you're having a good time, or like, are you enjoying whatever? And then, yeah, like, I don't know. I kind of operate under that assumption for myself. So then when I'm at events and
I
I
feel
meet,
so much. You have no idea how much better I feel having had this conversation.
that's the only reason you're like, the show's over. We cleared it up.
I'm like, oh yeah, pretty much. I'm like, oh, Pedro hates me. No, he doesn't hate me.
I was at like say SoCal in whatever September, and like Vellner and Fikowski were there, and like I've known them like 4 years, like not in a consistently communicative relationship, but like, we'd see each other, talk to each other on the show, whatever. But like they'd be the last people that I'd approach at a event. If I see like Dallin, I'll go straight to Dallin, or Dallin will come to me and say something, or it's more of a balanced kind of relationship. But then I don't judge, say, Brent or Pat or anyone that I would be standing next to. Like I've often stood next to people for 10 minutes, like Vellner for 10 minutes, and nothing be said. But I wouldn't judge him for that, because I'm like, well, if I'm at an event, I assume people don't want to talk to me. So he's probably in that same boat of operating under the assumption that unless someone like taps me on the shoulder or says, hey, Pat, I'm not going to be the dick that turns around and be like, hey, so you wanted to talk to me? Is that why you're standing beside me? So there's that as well. But yeah, I like Dallin is someone who I kind of have an easy relationship with. Dallin, like very, just like kind of steady, like we get on well, like similar kind of sense of humor and stuff. There are some
God,
like
I've learned so much today, like so much today. I will never judge anybody again for standing next to me and knowing me and not talking to me. I've got it. Good. Yes.
I think it's just like, it's a story that you tell yourself. Like, I don't know. Was it on this? Sure. I can't remember where it was. I told a story where at Wadapalooza, someone came up and asked for a photo outside a parking garage, like an under what the fuck do you call it? Like a garage that's under the ground. Yeah, underground, like that you drive into.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, no problem. It was like 2 girls. And I said, yeah, no problem. And in my head was like, this must be a like scene from a movie or something, this parking lot or something. And I went to take the phone, like to take the photo of them. And then they were like, no, like with you. And I was like, oh, okay. That was Paulina from Paper Street that I didn't realize.
Oh, that's amazing.
She said it to me afterwards. But like, I always operated on the assumption that like, why, like fucking 50 people might watch the show. So then it's like, why would I assume
somebody knows you?
Yeah. Or like that they want to talk. Like if they're walking past me and like raise their eyebrows, I'm not going to stop them and be like, hey, do you listen to my show? Like what an asshole would I be if I did that? And 1 out
of 20 people is going to be like, oh, fuck, that is Pedro Peter White. Like, let's go get that's the last interaction that we had where I was like, all like, hey, can we get a picture real quick? And you were like, yes. And I was like, I turned to her, we took the picture, and I turned to her and I was like, oh, he's not mad at me. We're fine. We're good. Everything's good.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not.
But it is.
I'm glad we cleared it up like 6 months later. Just took a podcast.
I guess it was important for her
No,
Do
it wasn't. He
publicly.
brought it up.
Do it publicly.
I'm just like, yes, that is exactly what. Yes, I get it.
Well, like Chase said that, you know, when we talked to him or whatever, he said it's weird when people still to this day walk up to him and are like, "Hey, can I talk to you for 5 minutes? Hey, can I take a picture with you?" And it doesn't seem like it gets, and Dallin even said the same thing. Like they almost have to pinch themselves where it's like people actually want to interact and talk to me, but like about what?
Yeah. What do you?
Like,
Yeah.
what is,
I get it.
you know what I mean? Like, what is it? But when we went to Crash, you know, we were very thankful for all of you guys, even to just give us the 5 minutes to say hi. We wanted to say hi to everybody. But it's like, do you tell yourself that there's an expectation that you have to meet every time that you go to a place like Wadapalooza or Crash or something, where it's like, okay, people watch my show, they support me, I'm here to do this, but I have to do a certain amount. I have to say hello to people. Like, do you ever feel that you don't feel that at all?
No, not because like maybe other, I just don't think there's a demand for it. Like sometimes I get messages, like, oh, do you know what I fucking noticed last week? That if I give an example of something or if I say something that someone said, I started with, oh, I don't know why I do it. Like if I'm I just did it there. But if I was saying that I was watching, and this, I think this stemmed from me trying to cut down how much I say like, that this new fucking mole has popped
It's a
up.
filler word.
You might as well
It's
just
a
use
filler
it.
word, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, I've never done it like, oh, fuck, now I'm saying like again. Anyway. Someone asked me before in one of those question boxes, are you doing a meet and greet at whatever? I can't remember what it was, SoCal maybe, or whatever I was at. And I was like, absolutely not. Like me and two other pricks standing around shaking each other's hands for 20 minutes. Like no one's going to line up for that. Like I've seen Roman Krenikov standing outside the tier tent and like 5 people were there. Do you know, like if he can only get that many people, who the fuck is coming to mine? But yeah, like, I don't know. Jeffrey asked there, am I approachable? I don't think I'm not approachable. I definitely have a resting, pissed off face. I know that from like my wife.
Your resting bitch face?
I've been told that too.
Are you approachable, Pedro?
I've been told that too. Yep.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I am like I will talk to people that come up to me and I'll chat, and I'm happy to meet people, especially people who are complimentary of like what I do and stuff. Obviously, that's a nice little ego fluffer. But I won't.
Is it an
ego
fluff, or is it just
I can't.
fluff?
I can't both. I can't ever foresee myself having a booth and like setting up a meet and greet or like saying, hey guys, I'll be at the Paper Street booth at 2 p.m. Come and stop by. Like, no, I couldn't. I just couldn't.
You're not there yet? You don't feel like you have that status yet?
I'll never be there. I don't think I'll ever be there. I think maybe it's an Irish thing. Maybe it's an Irish thing that it's like, I don't know.
I'm curious. Do you good fluff, cross fat? What's up? Yeah, a good fluff, good stuff.
Minicate.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I keep pushing. I'm sorry. Hands up.
It's not that Pedro doesn't want to talk to you. He's just constantly got jet lag.
That's fair. That's definitely fair.
I was gonna ask you at these events, how many times are you just like on an hour of sleep or 15 minutes of sleep and you have to go and be there on point, ready to go?
Yeah, it is like it's a champagne problem, like, but it is hard being tired and stuff, and then everyone else is local and they're like, woo, like this is amazing. And you're like, oh, I couldn't give a fuck. Like this wasn't worth it.
All I want to do is sleep.
Champagne problems. I like that. That's fair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
No, it is tiring, like, but God, it's a great and privileged position to be in, to be able to go to events and like see stuff and that kind of stuff. But
all right, I'm not letting you get away with not answering the compliment question, because I do really want to know when you.
Oh, sorry, the interview thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, say Caroline Lambre has never been on the show before, and I've kind of like maybe met her at an event, and like at SoCal, talked to her for like 10 minutes or whatever, and that's the extent of our relationship. And you could tell in the first 5 minutes of that show that she was like wary, apprehensive. Like I could feel it, that she was like closed off. And there was not like, if I had kept going the way I was going, it
It
would have
wasn't gonna
just been
work.
like a nothing. But and it's not intentional. It's not like, so my thing is I want the person that's on the show to be comfortable, and I want them to be relaxed, and I want them to finish the show and say, well, that
You
was
want them to
good.
finish. No, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
On my face.
I did
want them
Stevon's
to
podcast tomorrow or this morning, so I'm still stuck on. Go ahead. Sorry. Go.
I want them to finish the show and think, I'd do that again. Or like, that was
Of
enjoyable.
course. Yeah.
And if they don't, then like whatever. I don't want it to be because of something I did or said, or because I put them in an awkward position or whatever. If they put themselves in an awkward position, that's a different scenario. Or if they say something themselves, like that's out of my control, really. But I want them to enjoy it and walk away or stand up from their laptop or whatever and think, oh, that was good. He seemed like an all right guy. So I think what gets me there, I think the accent probably gives me a lot of leeway with stuff.
Yes.
And I think, honestly, I think I'm just curious, like just genuinely curious. I'm not asking questions because I've been told to ask a question, or because I have to ask a question, or because I think they'll like me asking the question, or because I think someone watching the show will like me asking the question. Any question that I ask is something that I'm curious about and that I want to know about. And then I think that is sensed often, or more times than not, that's sensed by the guest thinking, oh, this is just genuine curiosity. Like there's no ulterior motive here. There's no like,
It's
I'm
not
not
a
being
gotcha
trapped
moment.
or yeah. Now, sometimes there are gotcha moments that are completely unplanned or unintentional or whatever. But again, they're kind of out of my control. But if I ask someone a question, I'm not asking them because I'm leading up to ask them about something else. It's usually like, I know, okay, that's probably a fallacy. Sometimes I will think, so I don't know, I can't think of an example. But sometimes if I have a guest on and I want to ask them about something, I'll think, well, I definitely can't just ask them that straight off the bat, because they'll just say, what the fuck? And like hang up. But if I ask them, get them comfortable, get them chatting or whatever, and then I'm going to ask them about this thing because that should lead us to talk to this thing. And
Yes.
then once we talk about that thing, that opens the door to go over to this thing. And then once I'm talking about that thing, it's easier for me to ask the thing I actually want to ask them about. But I'm going to ask them these 2 or 3 boring questions first that I don't actually care about, because I'm trying to get through the corridors or the hallways or whatever over to this last door that I want to go through. But that only happens usually if I invite someone on the show. Usually I have one of them in my head when I invite them on.
Yes.
And then the whole rest of the conversation is genuine curiosity, but there will be that thing at the back of my mind that's like, I must ask about that thing. And I need to find a path to get there where it's not like, where the fuck did that come from? That was weird. Or that was an odd thing to ask.
That was the Vellner interview. Like, and
Yeah.
I noticed it, and I remember I listened to it because now I figured out how to put it on in the car so I can just listen to it while I'm driving. And I remember calling Colleen and being like, hey, it was a long way around, but if you get to like the last half hour, he asks all the questions. But it was just you navigating, getting to those questions.
Yeah.
And I thought that was masterful.
It's like it's fucking annoying as well though, because you'll have people will say like, oh, why did it take him so long to ask about it? It's like, why the fuck do you think? Imagine you have Brent and Pat on and that you click live and then you go, so you met CrossFit in after semifinals. Like, what the fuck are they going to do with that? Like, they just be like, nope, and hang up. Like, you have to lay a bit of track. You can't just like push a train out into a field. You have to put some fucking rail down first and like get it going a bit. You can't just say,
clipping literally the last 15 seconds that you just said, lay a bit of rail down, push it into a
how Irish is that? Yeah. we built your railroads.
But no, I totally get what you're saying. And what I'm saying is just, I can see that and how you do that, and I'm so like it teaches you a lot if this is something that you want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna start you don't start your podcast off with just like eat a dick. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you have to go through so many layers, clip that, and get to where you want to go. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think you do it so well. It's very cool to watch
I think you just have to be patient, and you have to have a genuine curiosity. Just
And
like
I've
I wonder
even seen
why,
you
and then that's it.
I've even seen you ask a question, it not get answered, and then you ask it in a different way, it not get
Yeah.
answered, and then you ask it in a different way, and then it gets answered.
Yeah. That's
And
that's a fun little game.
how do you
Usually
how
I'll
did you
ask a
learn
question.
that?
So
Is that
if
just
I
from working with
ask,
kids?
Having to explain yourself in a different way to the kids.
yeah, it might be that. It might be just sometimes I just get pissed off listening to other podcasts, and someone will ask a question and then the person will answer, and then you'll stop, you'll hit the space bar or whatever and be like, that didn't have anything to do with what was just said. But then the host will just be like, so moving on. It's like, what? Why? But why did you ask the last question if you had no intention on either listening to what they said or actually getting an answer for the question that you asked? So then sometimes I just let it go. If I'm like, it's about nothing and they just give some kind of bullshit answer that's even less about anything than the question I asked, I'll just move past. But if I ask someone a question and then they don't answer it, but sort of half answer it, but don't, I'll wait. I might ask something else and then I'll go back to the other thing, but I'll ask it in a different way to be like,
Yeah.
I wonder, maybe they didn't understand what I meant. And then if they don't answer the second time, all right, I'm like, all right, fuck you. You're not answering that question on purpose. So I'm going to ask it in a different way. And I'm going to make you say, I don't want to talk about this if you don't want to talk about it, which is fine. If someone said to me, I really don't want to talk about X, Y, or Z, I'd be like, all right, let's stop at W. Like, no problem. But like, if you were not answering a question out of stupidity, fine. Out of like, I don't know, not understanding English or my accent, whatever, fine.
Yeah.
But if you're not answering a question because you don't want to answer the question, then you should just say, I don't really want to answer that. Like Castro does it. And it's endearing and impressive when a guest just goes, move on.
Yeah,
But that's
respectful.
cool.
Like
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, fine.
I mean,
Okay,
Devon still tries about 17 different ways to get him to answer a question, but
Goes,
he
knocks on
just
the
says, I
back
don't
door,
want to.
like taps on the window. It's like all
Yep.
the shutters are just coming down.
CrossFit.
Oh, sorry.
Has any guest ever asked for things to be taken down after an episode?
Yeah. A few. I'm trying to think. So I've told this story before as well, but one person told me a story how they were, this is before I started doing live shows, this one. They told me a story about how they were kidnapped and like held hostage for 2 weeks, and they were tied to a chair in Africa, and it was like insane. And I was like, holy shit. And it was purely just through that normal curiosity. It was like, and like, what was that like? And they were like, oh, and where did you go? And how, what? And then it was just like, yeah, it was actually kind of crazy because I was kidnapped. And I was like, I beg your pardon. Yeah, so they told that story, and it was like fucking nuts. And I was like, holy shit, like this is mental. And then I woke up to an email the next morning saying, hey, I'm pretty sure there's an NDA on that story, and I might get into trouble if that comes out maybe. So can you just cut that bit out? And I said, yeah, fine.
No.
Like it's literally the best part of any podcast I've ever done.
The whole thing, yep.
Then or since. And I just said like, yeah, okay, that's fine. I'll take that out.
Damn.
So that was one of them. And then another one, I'm trying to think. Someone said, this is going to be really obvious. Someone said, developing countries. And then DM'd me later and said, oh, I'm a bit panicked because I said developing countries, and you're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to say something else, and I can't remember what the other term was. And I replied, are you
Third
joking?
world?
I said, are you joking? And they said, No, I was just talking it through, and I just think maybe if we could take it out, I'm just a bit worried, whatever. And I said, "This is insane." It's like, no, like that's not a thing. It's not a thing for people to be. I was like, first of all, I'm pretty sure nobody in Africa listens to my podcast, or no one in like southern fucking India or whatever. I don't even know what nations are developing, but none of them listen to this show, so don't sweat it. Yeah, that was. I didn't take it out, but that was a weird one.
Is there
Um,
anybody? Oh no, go ahead. If you got more, go for it.
I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything else.
Crazy.
There was something. Fuck, I'm not going to be able to remember it now, but I just have this niggling thing at the back of my head that someone said, "Hey, could you take out that section where I talk about X?" But I just can't remember what the fucking thing was or who it was.
I'm sorry.
And if I could remember one, I'd
thing,
remember the other, but I can't remember either.
What thing do you have in the back of your head?
A niggle. It's like a nagging feeling. What do you call it if you've a very minor injury in your leg that's not actually stopping you doing anything, but it holds you back a little bit? What do you call that?
It's just a pain in the ass, like a
Like if
nagging
you
feeling.
Yeah, we call that.
Nagging
Oh, I've got a bit of a niggle in my knee, like a bit of a niggle.
The greatest.
L-E. It ends in L-E,
Yeah.
not E-R.
That's the greatest shit I've ever heard in my life. I am using that forever now. Yes.
Hey, can you just take that out? Can you just
You want me
take that
to
out,
clip
please?
that? Oh yeah, I'll clip that. I'll
Yeah, no, I
scratch that.
can't think of anything else that anybody else has taken out. Yeah, Arsenal lost to
Johnny Hayes.
we lost to
Yeah.
Man United on penalties, and they had a player sent off, and it was fucking pathetic.
You're talking
Anyway,
about.
I was watching that with my son, so we were eating dinner, and I was standing in the doorway because we got new carpet in our front room, and the kids aren't allowed to eat food in it. So we were having dinner in the kitchen, and they're not allowed to wear shoes in it, and they're not allowed to eat food in it. And because they're not, we're not. So like, they are fucking Nazis about it. Like if you're anywhere near there in shoe, if you're walking in that direction in shoes, like whoa. It's like, okay, I mean, I like that they don't do it, but this is a bit much. So I was standing in the doorway eating my dinner so I could watch the penalties. And I was like, had a potato on my fork, classic Irish. And one of my feet was on the carpet and the other one was in the kitchen. And my daughter almost had a fit. And I was like, relax. Like, first of all, I'm not a 5-year-old. And like, as I was like telling her to relax, I was moving my fork around, and my wife was like, get out of the kitchen. She was like, that potato's going to fly off the fork.
Get out.
But yeah, no, yeah, he was watching it with me. My son kept getting down and coming over and looking at it. And so Man United were in black and Arsenal were in red, and I support Arsenal. And Man United would score a penalty, and I'd say, "Oh fuck," and he'd go, "Yeah," and I was like, "No, we don't like those though. We like the other guys." So he and then he'd go back to his seat, and then I'd watch Arsenal take a penalty, and they'd score, and I'd say, "All right, cool." And then he'd come back over and be Man United again, and I was like, "Now we want this guy to miss," and he's like, "Okay, yeah," and then kicked the ball into the net. And he's like, yeah, woo, like going back over to his chair. And I'm like, what the fuck is your problem, man? Like, I've explained this to you twice. We do not like those guys. But yeah, it's frustrating.
That's my kid with the Yankees right now. And Bernie Gannon is very happy because my kid all of a
He
sudden
tells everybody
magically likes the Yankees instead of the Mets. And I'm like, dude, I've explained this to you. I don't know how many fucking times. This is not,
Maybe that's
not
why.
what we're doing. Probably.
Maybe that's why. Yeah.
Well, they're not playing
my son's just stupid. Your son's probably rebelling.
He's looking at stats.
Yeah, they're not playing well, is what he always says. Mommy, I can't like that team because they're not playing well. We're like, loyalty matters, kid. Like you just
yeah, he's a fair weather fan.
Yeah.
Oh, terribly.
Dude, except for the Giants.
Terribly.
He just wants the Giants to stop sucking. So,
what do the Giants do? They play
football, American football.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're terrible.
Yes, they are.
So that's nearly over now, isn't it?
The Super Bowl's coming up February.
When is that? In like February? Okay. Who's nearing the end there?
Fucking
what is
nobody.
That, like semifinals?
Well, I mean, I guess I would the Bills and the Chiefs and
you need to say the names of places. Kansas, I know that. Kansas City.
Sorry, Kansas City.
Who's the Bills?
It's the New York Bills, the Buffalo Bills, still New York.
I was like, New York Bills isn't very catchy.
John Young,
Buffalo
yeah,
Bills makes sense.
John Young will be happy. The Minnesota Vikings are still.
Their training, is it their training stadium or their actual stadium is fucking insane. The black.
Yeah.
It's like a
Yep.
black. It's like something out of what was that space Odyssey? You know, and what the fuck was that movie?
Space
Where
Odyssey.
you know where the big black marble thing lands in the ground and the monkeys are all
Yeah,
going,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
yeah, it's like that.
Here's another. I wanted to ask you this too before, because I know we're getting
Do you
there.
write
My
down
kid is
questions?
what?
Do you write down questions?
Some, just some
Yeah,
things that so I don't forget it if it's something that I really, really care about. But most of it just comes while you're talking. Like
yeah,
everything I have in front of me right now, we have not even
yeah.
remotely touched because the conversation has just went well.
I talk too much. That's why. No, I
No,
don't.
I
I
like
don't
that. I
either.
appreciate that.
Sometimes I write down like that a bullet point. If I have someone on
Yeah.
like Don Fall or someone like that, where I'm like, all right, I need to ask these like 5 things that I will never remember to ask, but I need to
Yeah.
ask them. So what I'll end up doing with Don is I will write out like 40 different things that I want to ask. But what I've started doing lately is like, say, when Caroline was on, when Velner was on, when Dallin was on, like recently, I've just stopped writing anything down. And I'll just be like,
Oh,
I feel comfortable enough to just click live and then be like, fuck it, I'll think of something. Usually when I've
wow.
invited them on, I have something in my head that I want to ask them
I
about.
was gonna
And then
say,
the
do
rest
you
Yeah.
is
have
kind of,
that
yeah,
initial,
the
that
nugget.
initial
Yeah.
reason to want to invite them on? Do you give them any insight to what the conversation? Not at all.
No, especially when they ask, I'm deliberately vague when they ask.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I used to have, I'd ask about getting Don on, and they'd be like, "Okay, cool. What are you going to ask him about?" And I'd reply, and I'd say, "Just the usual, you know, CrossFit Games and CrossFit HQ. You know, nothing specific. I can send you over stuff close to the time when I have it done, but I've
Wait,
nothing
did
in
you
front of
talk?
me."
Oh my God, did you talk to was it his agents that you had to tell this to?
I think it was some like PR company or something where like
Oh
that was who
shit.
I went through to get Don on.
Oh,
That's common
Don.
though, I
Oh, you're
think.
talking about
Yeah,
Don.
yeah.
I
Don.
thought you were talking about Dallin. Okay.
Oh
All
no,
right, all right.
no, I just text
Okay.
Alan.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, most people you just ask. Sometimes if you've asked someone and they're kind of, oh yeah, definitely, and then cool, when? No reply. Then you're like, hey,
Yep.
do you actually want to do this? Or if you don't, it's no problem. And then they'll say, no, I do. Sorry, I totally forgot. Blah blah blah. They're the type of people that I'll then go to the agent and say, hey, I was talking to X and said they seem up for it. Could you maybe schedule something because they seem kind of fucking shit at scheduling stuff. So that's the only time I'll really go to an agent. Now at the start I used to have to go to loads of them because I didn't know, like nobody knew who I was or whatever, but now it's just, yeah, it's kind of a last ditch thing.
That's yeah, I don't I think I've only ever said it what I wanted to talk about the first time I've ever reached out to anybody, and then after that I'm
Yeah,
just like, do you want to come on? Come on. I'll talk, like whatever. Like Dallin, I definitely said, hey, do you want to come on and talk about this, this, and this? And
yeah.
we hit every single one of those bullet points and then just moved on because I didn't want to be like, I don't have that relationship with him.
I think
You know what I
a
mean?
lot of people can work out themselves. Just want to see if there's caffeine in this. A lot of people can work out themselves what they can assume what people are going to want to talk about and then make a decision themselves. Like, I have Brannon is coming on that just left Think Tank, and I invited him to come on the show. It's
Yeah, I
pretty
saw
obvious
that.
going to ask him about finishing up with Think Tank. Like, that's a bit
Mhm.
of a no-brainer. So it's
Yeah.
his responsibility then when he says yes to the show. In my head, it's his responsibility to say, cool, yeah, I'll come on. I'm just not comfortable talking about any of the stuff like from the last week or whatever. Or, you know what I mean? And if he
Yeah.
doesn't say that, then it's a free opening. And then if he, during the show, says, I don't really want to, or gives me the impression that he doesn't want to talk about it, I'll just move on. But
Mhm.
I mean, if he seems like a smart guy, so I'm sure he's worked out like, oh, I just left Think Tank. This guy wants me on his show. He's probably going to ask me why I left Think Tank and what I'm planning on doing now.
Yeah.
I don't think this has caffeine. I'm really thirsty and I ran out of water.
Is it a C4 you're looking at? What are you looking
No,
at right
this
now?
is how much I like you guys. I'm not willing to stop it. I'm going to drink the worst drink.
Oh, we like Fit Aid. You don't like Fit Aid?
Oh, this is like cactus. Like it's so shit. Angelo was on the debate like a few weeks ago And he was drinking Fit Aid, and I was like, "Do you like that?" And he said, "Yeah, yeah." And I was like, "Are you like paid to say you like it, or do you actually like it?" He's like, "No, I actually do like it." And then he was kind of talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I gave it a hard rub. Like maybe it is nicer than I gave it credit for." And then I drank it like the next day or something. I was on a show and I could not believe how bad it was. Like, I was like, I can't remember what show it was, but someone said, "What's wrong with your face?" Like in the chat was like, "What's wrong with your face?" And I was like, "I just drank Fit Aid, fully expecting it to be nice because Angelo Chico told me it would be nice, and it wasn't."
You'll never trust him again.
Yeah.
It's the blue raspberry. Papa
Yeah,
Birch.
that's birch.
Yeah, that's
Blue
not my
raspberry.
favorite of the creatine ones. That one's like a last resort too.
I
That's
like that one.
It's
Fine.
just
I like
not-
cat piss.
it's just
It's
not
fine. Whatever.
It's just so some drinks like Nocco, C4 doesn't do it, but Nocco does it towards the very end of the can. This does it from the first mouthful, that you take a drink and then when you inhale, there's like a weird coating on the inside of your mouth, like a metallic coating on the inside of your mouth that you can feel with every breath. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe I'm allergic to it. I don't know.
If his face starts to blow up, we just know. We'll call.
Oh yeah. Like, nope. He's not good with blueberries.
No, that feeling. Next time you drink a Fit Aid, just take a mouthful of it, pause for a second, and then like breathe in. And your mouth feels weird when you breathe in after you take
Okay.
a drink of it.
All right, I'll have
All
to.
right.
It's like a coating on it or something. I don't know. It's weird.
Is there speaking of like the podcast and having people on podcasts or whatever, is there anybody that you would not like, just you cannot come on my platform? Forget it. Like there's no way. You might talk to them, whatever, but you're just like, no. You don't have to tell me who it is, but I'm just saying, is there like a no?
There's a couple of people that I don't invite on the debate show to amuse myself. Like I've kind of said early on, I was like, I will never have that person on a debate show just for my own entertainment, just to never ask. I just think it's funny. But there's nobody like I'd have anyone on to talk about anything. Like I know some people, like with all the Dave stuff and everything going on, there's like some people be like, "Oh, like Dave's a fucking asshole," and other people are like, "Oh, Brent's a fucking asshole." And it's like, all right, yeah, we still need content, man. Like we still need to fucking talk.
You
about
gotta talk
stuff,
to
and we still need
everybody.
to, yeah, just like put shit out there, and then people can decide, "Yep, I was right about Brent," or "Nope, I was wrong about Brent. I changed my mind," or "Oh, I've changed my mind a little bit, but I'm still where I was." And I just think, at the heart of it, I think the majority of people are good people. So then talking to everybody is just kind of fine. And then you like, if they're not a good person, they'll fucking show it pretty quickly. If you just give them enough rope,
Yeah.
they'll hang themselves and they'll like tie themselves up in knots in the corner, and then everyone can just like point and laugh at them and say, "You're a fucking idiot."
Jake Chapman, what's up, dude? I tried Fit Aid at the German Throwdown in 2015. It was the worst thing to come from Germany since 19. Damn. God. Okay. We're in it to win it. Yeah, I was curious because, I don't know. What do you want?
Sorry, go
Which
on.
one do you want?
No, I just realized I hadn't looked at them in a while.
Oh yeah. Tell me. Let's talk to him.
C4. Keeping It Real said C4 has something other than caffeine in it. Yeah, it's beta alanine in it, but only in America, not in Europe, which is fucking really annoying.
Oh, you get that beta feeling and you're fucking like, I love it.
Nope.
She
I
hates
hate
it.
that. I hate
The first time I had it was in Hiller's house, like 2 years ago.
your eyes just.
Yeah, you just
I had never had beta alanine before, ever. And he gave me a can of C4 and I like drank, because it's C4 is a perfect CrossFit energy drink, because they have taken some of the fizz out of it. So it's like not flat, but it's not like, oh man, I'm going to be sick 10 minutes after you drink it doing burpees or something. It's like you can drink it in 2 big mouthfuls if you really want it. I mean, like constantly drinking mouthful, you know what I mean? 2 attempts. But it's perfect like that. And then the beta alanine, when he gave it, I drank it and I was like, for about 5 minutes, I thought, oh fuck, I'm allergic to whatever he just gave me. And how like,
because your
how
face
embarrassing.
itches, right?
Yeah. Your
I
whole
hate that.
body. I was like, how am I going to explain to Hiller that he needs to bring me to a hospital? Like, this is the first time I've met him in person, and I could die, and I'd never been allergic to anything in my life. And then I was like, what? Like, what the fuck is in this? And he was like, beta alanine. And I was like, what's that? He's like, oh shit. Because like, yeah, you're in for a ride for the next 5 minutes. But yeah, it's cool. I like it. I like
You
C4
didn't
a
even
lot.
do that. I bought, like, when the whole craze of Matt Frazier taking beta alanine, and that was like the whole thing, and it came 2 big swallows. I know, that was amazing. This podcast is awesome. I went and got beta alanine, the dry scoops, so it was like, it's just the beta alanine in a powder, and I was like, what?
This has beta alanine in it. I think it's just like C4 pre-workout.
Yeah, no, but it was like it wasn't a pre-workout. It was
like,
just strict beta.
Ugh.
I hate saying that, strict beta, but yeah, I would dry scoop that shit and just swallow it in one go with water, and yeah, my whole body was like on
People do
fucking
that with
fire.
baking soda for the same purpose, don't they? It doesn't give you the tingles, but it prevents. It's a lactic acid buffer or something.
Baking soda?
Yeah, isn't that right? Someone tell me if that's right or not.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I saw, because you know what else baking soda is good for?
Your teeth.
This
That's
is-
the only thing I heard.
I'm do you guys eat roast, like roast dinners? No, is that an American thing, or is that just
Roast
like
beef?
like chicken and potatoes, like roast
Oh, yeah.
potatoes? And
Yeah.
so we make one of them every week, and I've recently discovered that if you put baking soda in the water that you're boiling the potatoes in before you roast them, it draws out the starch, and then they go insanely crispy, like insanely roasted. So that's just a little boring tip that's fresh in my mind because I did it today. And it buffers lactic acid. So there you go. Dual
Cross
purpose.
fat, always with the
The knowledge.
I love it.
I never heard that before.
Oh my god. Shit.
I think Pool Boy does it. I think.
Is he? I heard he's not going. Is he not going to Wadapalooza? I'm so sad.
Oh, I have no idea.
Hi, Sev.
What?
Sevon's here.
Oh, hey, what's up? Is that true? Oh, baking soda? I don't know.
I think Taylor does it too, or did it for a while.
We're deferring to cross fat right now. Buffers, acid.
I'm 99% sure that I've heard Taylor say I've taken baking soda because it's a lactic acid buffer.
All right. Well, Colleen's gonna look it up now.
Because I remember thinking, oh, it would fuck up your stomach would feel like shit because it's like acid, isn't it? No, it's a base. It's a base, isn't it? Yeah, it's a base because it buffers acid. Yeah, it's a base.
What did Kippen just say? Baking soda is what now? Baking soda is the only known proven legal performance enhancers, but I shit my pants on top of a muscle up when I took it.
That sounds like a you thing, not a baking soda
Yeah,
thing.
it's not everybody's thing. Baking soda also, can help counteract the effects of lactic acid buildup in the muscles.
Okay, there you go. You got it. Fair.
God damn, I knew something.
Go ahead.
And it's great for roasting potatoes.
Oh,
or if you're making
water?
chips.
Somebody asked
like
that.
Homemade fries.
Yes, and if you take
horrible.
too much, it can mess up your stomach and you can shit yourself.
Whitney Davis, do you put them in the
crock
crock pot? Oh, you guys don't have a crock pot?
You don't know what
Are they like the kind of Delft dishes with the lid and 2 handles?
Yeah.
Put everything.
And you put it.
Yeah, no, we don't do that.
Slow cook it. Nothing. No.
No, we put chicken on. Well, I put chicken on a tray, and then I put the potatoes on another tray.
You put it in a bag.
Put it in a fucking bag.
Neutralize these nuts. Fucking asshole. You're such a dick, dude. Have you heard the one? I'll send this out for free. Have you heard the Mind Goblin one?
What?
The Mind Goblin one.
No.
You haven't heard that?
What just happened there?
You mind goblin these nuts? No.
Did you hang on? Did you just change? Did you just mirror yourself? What the fuck happened visually?
Oh, the camera?
Oh, the camera.
Yeah, no. You haven't done this?
That was really confusing.
She has a new camera that cuts out all the time.
I'm figuring out how to like the heat. Well, I haven't been doing.
Oh, you can turn that off. You can turn that off. That used to happen to mine. if you go into settings, if it's the same as mine, if you go into settings, where is it? Settings and like safety or something, or settings and battery or safety or something like that. And then there's
I'm
an
writing it all
overheat
down.
thing. There's an overheating option somewhere, and you can just turn it off.
Yeah.
Because what happens
Okay.
is I think it thinks you're walking around recording a video and you're going to like fry the SD card or something. But you know
Okay.
you're not, you're just streaming it. So yeah, you go into settings and somewhere in there there's a if you Google it, like the make of your camera and overheat setting, it'll tell you where to find it.
Okay, cool.
Oh, look at that. You didn't even have to go to the Geek Squad.
Oh, I know.
just
This morning
right
I was
here.
about to go to Best Buy Geek Squad. So
Yes.
Don't bother.
that's amazing. Oh, what happened? Fight Club kitchen scene? What's happening? Pedro.
Spatchcock sausage chickens. I actually don't.
I don't know what that means. What is spatchcocks?
It's where you cut like the spine out of the chicken and then lay it down flat.
Oh.
So it cooks faster instead of leaving it, like in its intended form. But I find if you spatchcock it, then you can't fuck it after you cook it, so it's no good.
I'm just gonna spatchcock it because I want to say the word.
Yeah.
That's fine. Oh my god, dude. I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got you're up late. I know you got kids and whatever.
I'm good for another like 20 minutes if you want, but I'm like whatever you want, whatever works for you. I don't want to keep you either. You know what I'm
No,
like.
no, no.
People don't want to.
Yeah. Oh, you drank a Fit Aid.
He drank a Fit
yeah.
Aid for you, honey. So
I know.
I'm still trying to.
I'm trying to write down all these options because nothing I have done has worked so far.
What camera is it? Is it Sony?
Yeah, A7 IV.
Yeah, it's a different version. It's the same make as mine, so it will have the option somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
it's just been like it's the only.
It used to happen to me for about 2 months, and then I think it was Will or someone was like, "Yeah, it's overheating. You need to figure out how to turn off the overheating option." And then I just Googled it, and there was some video or something.
There you go.
Well, I have to because I love the camera and it works great, but it's like 45 minutes and then it'll give me 20 minutes and then I have to turn it off, turn it back on, and it's 20 minutes more, and it's crazy.
Edgin says make sure your SD card is fast enough. Yeah, but it doesn't matter with this because it's just plugged in. It's just running direct. It's not storing it anywhere. So, but that is a good point if you're actually recording stuff. Because I didn't realize there's so much shit I don't know about this. Like I make a video and then I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I look at Hiller's stuff and I'm like, oh my God, he has a fucking drone. It's just like, what am I doing? And then like I'd be like, right, why does his look so much different than mine? Or why does that other video look so much different than mine? And there's one of my friends is a photographer and he does like music, like they're not famous there, but they're famous here, like musicians that are in the charts and stuff here. And he does all their concerts and stuff and follows them around. And like routinely every 5 or 6 months, I'll message him and be like, hey, what's a good lens for my camera? Because I've become frustrated with not being able to do something at an event or whatever. This guy shoots CrossFit too. So he's aware of like, dark rooms and, that kind of shit that you need to deal with. And he'd be like, well, what do you want it for? And I'd be like, I don't know, like just to like zoom in a bit maybe, or maybe not zoom in, or maybe go, in darkness, or maybe if I'm out somewhere bright. And he's like, oh, they're all different lenses. So he told me, he was like, get this fixed lens. So it's just like, it's really good in dark settings. But it's fixed. So you can't zoom in, you can't zoom out. And he's like, it's an F whatever. And it's blah, 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 like 13 to whatever. And I was like, cool. What do those numbers mean? And then he was like, oh, well, F is your aperture. And I genuinely can't fucking remember what that means. And he's told me the point of this story is he's told me 6 times at least what the numbers on a lens mean. And I still don't know what they mean because I don't fucking care. I just want it to look good. And I want someone else to say, here's a lens that will work on your camera and here's how much it should cost, but you can get it for this much in this other place. And then that's fine. Instead of me looking at lenses being like, what's a Sigma? What's this? Like, is a Sigma a Sony? Are they different? Is it a cheap? Is it shit? Like, what's 12 to 50? What? Like, is that the diameter of the lens or is that something inside the lens that I need to know about that I don't know about? But yeah, and people have talked to me about it before. They were like, oh, well, it's actually there. I was like, oh, no, I really, really don't care. Like, I don't give a shit. I just want someone to say, buy this lens. It's what you want. And then
that's what Hiller did for me.
Mm-hmm.
I
that's
literally
what Susie did for me.
Yeah, he was just like, "Here, this," and then when I asked him something about lenses, and he's like, "That's a slippery slope, my friend. Like, you might
It
not
is.
wanna go down that road."
I have to
Like
ask a
that lens,
follow-up.
that fixed lens I have is brilliant. But it's like if I'm standing here recording someone, it's like right up in their face. So I have to stand back to get like them in shot. But then the sound suffers. So then it's like a slippery slope of like, right, which is better, which is worse. And then if they walk away from me and they're talking to someone else, I can't zoom in. Like I can't do, I'm helpless.
Oh,
So I have
yeah,
to like
yeah,
crop it afterwards and bring it close, but then it goes kind of blurry. So then it's like, all right, I'm kind of stuck now I'm kind of between two things of what I need. Like, yeah, I need that close up one for when I'm talking to an athlete face to face. But then once they walk on the competition floor, I'm fucked if I can't zoom in on them. But then the zoom in lens I have is fine, but it's not great. So I go from amazing quality when I'm talking to the person, and then okay quality when they go onto the floor, and then back to amazing quality again if I swap them out. And I never do because I can't be fucking bothered.
Well, I was fucked up for the longest time because see how behind me isn't like it's blurry a little bit, but I'm fine in focus? I didn't
Yeah.
realize that that's how it was supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
So I was, like, losing my mind forever
Tried
trying
to
to
fix it.
focus everything, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that's not how it's supposed to be.
But yeah,
It's
like think
fine."
about how you look at something, like with
Yeah,
your
right.
own eyes. Yeah.
Mhm.
I
It's
remember when I
so
was younger, I used to think there was something wrong with me where we had a crack in our windscreen in our car, and there was like it wasn't in the field of vision of the driver, so you didn't have to get it fixed, and it wasn't like spreading. It was just like a black dot, and it was in my field of vision, and I used to think there was something wrong with my eyes because if I looked at the dot, I could see like two roads outside the window. Do you know what I mean? And if I
Yeah.
looked at the road, I could see two dots, and I was about like I don't know 8, and I was like, oh god, what's wrong with my eyes? And then my brother's like 4 years older than me, and he was like, there's nothing wrong with your eyes. You're just retarded. He was like, you're looking at away, you're not focusing on something and it's blurry. And then you're focusing on that, and the other thing is blurry. He was like,
Blurry.
that's just being a human. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't I
Thankfully, for that older
um,
sibling.
edging, just DM me, please. I've always wanted to say that. Edging, just DM me. Slide into my DMs. I'll ask you I'll ask you questions.
Well,
Uh,
I have a question that's going to take us.
Hold on. Before you do that, Jake, real quick. Pedro, you watching Traders?
Yes. Do you watch Traders?
Is that I don't know what
Have you
that
ever
is.
have you ever played like Werewolf?
Have I ever played there's a game called Werewolf?
Yeah, okay. So there's basically
No.
this TV show Traders. There's an American version as well, which apparently isn't as good. But the English one is fucking nuts. So basically there's like 12 people or 13 people are brought away to this castle. It's like a reality TV show kind of thing. But 3 of them are told that they're traders and the rest of them are faithful. So you can play if anyone knows, there's a game called Werewolf, which is basically the same thing. There's werewolves and there's villagers. So yeah, Alan Cummins presents the American one, but there's a UK one that's amazing. And so the traders every night kill the faithful. Pick one person, they kill them, and the faithful have to work out who the traders are and kill them. And just the prize fund keeps getting added to. So I think it's at $40,000 or something now at the minute. And every night there's a round table, right? So they all sit at the round table. And they're like, right, I think that person's a traitor because they said this to me this morning and they looked at this person this way and they did this. And it's like a bizarre psychological study of how mob mentality works, how fear works, how people manipulate emotions, how people are emotionally stunted and don't realize it. And then it's playing out on national television. But like, there's so much funny stuff in it. So someone will say, like, oh, what about you, Garrett? Do you think anyone's a traitor? And you'll say, no, I can't really think of anyone. Like, maybe come back to me. I'm not really sure. And then I'll say, well, I actually think Garrett's a traitor because this morning she came into breakfast and said, she just kind of looked a bit funny. And then you'll say, well, I was going to say, I think you're a traitor because yesterday, and it's like immediately flips on its head. It's so crazy how people act and react. And I've listened to like podcasts talking about, like, there's like a TV producer that was talking about it, and he was like, the game is flawed. Like, there's a lot of flaws in the game, but the reason that it works is because, like, we obviously know what's happening. So like it's sort of that Oedipus Rex thing of like we understand, we know, we have the benefit of knowledge of knowing who all the traitors are, who all the faithful are. We can get annoyed at them for, you know, like, oh, how can you not see? Like, or, you know, like, oh, they're so stupid looking at that person when it's this person. So like every night then the faithful banish someone. So they vote for someone who they all think is a traitor. Whoever gets the most votes is banished. And just before they leave, they say, I was a faithful or I was a traitor. So
Oh, that's
then
fun.
Oh,
they're
okay.
trying
That's
to chip
fun.
away at the traitors. So the traitors are obviously like just subtly trying to say like, hey, you know, I think Colleen might be a traitor. And then get
Oh.
everyone to turn on her. So she's gone. And then if
Mhm.
Garrett's like seems to be on to someone, like figuring out like, I'm pretty sure that person's a traitor, but I'm not certain. Then they kill that person at night. So then the next morning when they don't come into breakfast, everyone's like, oh, fuck, Garrett's dead. And then we're like, wait, who was she saying yes, it was a traitor? I bet that's why they killed it. Like, it's crazy. But it's a really good show. So yeah, I am watching it. That's the answer to that question.
Do you get to, oh, okay. Yeah, you answer. Okay, babe. Ask your question. But now I want to play that game. Honestly.
That's
too.
crazy. So it's kind of a 3-part question. So obviously coming to the States, what was the number one thing that shocked you about the States? What's the number one thing that you love about the States? And what's the worst thing about coming to the States?
The biggest shock I had was the size of everything is insane. Like the penises are just when you go, I was just standing at the urinal and I just couldn't. No, we were in. Where the fuck were we? In America.
You're probably in
Obviously.
Texas.
I'm trying to think where the fuck I was. I was with JR. Maybe it was Miami. And another time then in Texas last year, we went to like a supermarket and I remember who the fuck was I with? I was with Barkley Dale was there. Is this a dream? No, this happened.
I was about to say.
Barkley Dale was there and
Barkley Dale was bigger than you thought.
Barkley Dale, Will, and someone else. I can't remember.
Is really that size.
but we walked into a supermarket, like a grocery store, and I was like, what the fuck? And they were like, what? And I was like, is this big? Is this normal? Like, are you like, oh, this is just a store? Or are you like, whoa, this is a big store? And they're like, no, this is like pretty standard. Like, I've seen bigger. And I was like, this is honestly insane. Like, just aisles and aisles and aisles. And they're all up to the fucking ceiling. And it's like a warehouse. Like, our distribution centers are the size of some of the stores.
You must have went to Costco.
Yeah, you
must have went to Costco.
It was a fucking like just that was what shocked. I was like, is this a Costco? They were like, no, it's like a Whole Foods or whatever.
Whole Foods, yeah.
And then there was when we were in Miami, I remember just like looking up and the height of the buildings is incredible. Like, it's insane how tall the buildings are. We don't have anything even close to what's just an average hotel in like Miami or Madison or wherever. We have nothing even coming close to that. So yeah, that was probably the biggest shock was, and I'm very Americanized by like TV and movies, like all the movies we consume here, apart from like Traders, is American based, filmed in America, American actors, whatever. So I'm very used to seeing stuff, but I think when you're actually there, you're like, fucking hell, that is enormous. The biggest dick I've ever seen. But yeah, that was the biggest shock. I think was the size of stuff. What did you say? The thing I don't like is that was the second thing.
What's the number one thing that you love about coming to the States?
Oh, love about. I think just seeing the guys. That's become the main thing that I like. I think the first couple of times I went, I was just in awe of how cool it was that I was getting to go to these things that I have watched and wanted to be a part of or wanted to see like firsthand. That was the initial like, oh, this is amazing. Now it's like, oh, fuck, I get to hang out with JR for like a week, or oh, I get to go and see like, you know, oh, Caleb's going to be there, or Hiller's going to be there, like Will, whoever. Like, that's become the thing now. That's why I look forward to Like I'm really looking forward to going to Miami because I get to hang out with JR and because I'll get to see like, you know, Nick from Proven or whoever else. I'll get to hang out with them and see them. So yeah, I think now the thing that I love about it is the relationships that I've made and built and like the friends that I have and stuff and people that I see. Yeah, I think that's now. What was the last one?
What do you hate about the States?
The tea.
If you could pick one thing that you dislike about the States, what is it?
I don't know.
Is it the food? Is it the travel? Is it the people? Not your crew.
Anna, you
no.
said the bread.
Yeah, is it the food? Is it does food really taste different in America than where you guys
there's
are?
a fuck ton of sugar. I remember I had a Kit Kat. The first time I went to America, it was like 2019, and I had a Kit Kat, and I couldn't fucking believe how sweet it tasted. Like it blew my mind that a Kit Kat could taste so different from one place to another. But we don't put like high fructose syrup and stuff in our chocolate, so that was the difference. What do I dislike? I'd say probably the coffee is like just fucking deplorable in so many places. Like I've just been burned so many times, not literally burned, but like metaphorically
coffee
burned.
And then it was horrible.
Yeah, by walking into a coffee shop being like, I'm sure this is fine. And you ask for something and you watch them do it and you're like, no. And then, sorry. The other fucking thing I hate is tipping. I fucking hate that. I really fucking hate tipping. I hate that it's a thing. I hate that there's an expectation. I hate that because now it's right. Not all. I have good coffee.
It's okay. Gabe is having a lot of feelings today.
Gabe's having a day.
He got
today.
into it with David Weed this morning.
Gabe knows that in SoCal, he made me a flat white in SoCal, and it was the best coffee I had in California. And like that was just at a fucking pop-up booth. That tells you everything you need to know about coffee in America. That a guy who transported his stuff really and set up a pop-up booth was that far ahead of all the stationary places that are there, brick and mortar places. What was I saying there about tipping? Yeah, fuck, man. Because I don't even know. Well, now we fucking do. So, and I understand, like, you guys. So I understand that it's like the wages aren't the same and blah blah blah, and it's like, oh, like, whatever. But now what happens is you go into like you buy your coffee in a more than minimum wage cafe in Ireland, and they'll be like, you just tap there when it comes up, and it's like 15%, 20%, like 40%, and it's like, no, like this is not a thing here, and it shouldn't be a thing here because you are fucking well remunerated for your work. They are not well paid for their work, and that's why they have tips. They rely on tips. You're a fucking charlatan. Turn that back around. But usually I just wait till they walk away, tip, no thank you, and then tap my card. But no, the tipping. I don't like the pressure of tipping as well, because a lot of times in America especially, they'll turn the little fucking Swizzy tablet thing around, and then they'll just be like this. Just waiting.
Stand over you?
Yep. Yeah, they're watching to see where your finger is going. And what I started doing the last time I went there is they'll watch to see where your finger is headed, and then they'll like turn and walk away. So I go towards the right and then just move over to the left. Well, like slow motion waiting. Tonight. You better start making that coffee, and then like just slide over and tap the shit one. Yeah.
What we've learned about Pedro tonight is he does not like expectations of conversations or tipping or whatever. So now we know. Now we're good. Now we can.
You want to ask me for a tip or a handshake?
My way up. Oh, Gabe.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
You can make cold brew with the water. Sorry, Gabe. That was an insensitive joke. You could.
Too soon, man. Too fucking soon.
No jokes are off limits. You should be able to joke about everything.
That's right.
Gabe knows. Gabe knows.
Kenslap, before Pedro leaves, can you please give us a Watkins impersonation?
This is actually really funny because I don't think he'll mind me doing this. going to read out a text that I got from Tyler today. This is actually very funny that he asked that. Oh my God, where is it? Oh, it was in DMs. So he sent me a DM. His Explore page is now full of Irish people because I, in the past, have sent him like one or two things that I thought were funny. And then he's gone on to fucking, consume them like an obese whale and just like more and more. And sometimes he sends me like a video and so he sent me a video today of a girl and said, Cork? Like, is she from Cork? The place Cork? Because of the accent. And I said, Galway. And he goes, oh, I'll get there eventually. And I said, look, Cork narrows all their vowels. Galway adds in random H's that don't make sense. So like West becomes West. Like that's how Galway people talk. And then he said, I'm sorry, Tyler, if you don't want me saying this. He said, weird one. Weird fact. When I listen to your shows, I repeat everything you say to get the accent right. Okay, I was like, I need to hear this. And he said, oh, someday I'll have the balls and I'll do it, but I'm not ready yet. He said, sometimes I think it sounds amazing. So he's obviously practicing that. Let me think, what does Tyler sound like?
If he ever does that, that's going to be amazing.
What the fuck does Tyler sound like? I need to hear him before I can talk.
Babe, find him quick.
I got you. Oh, well, I do want to share this because I think we were supposed to start with this and we never did. So I would like to show you where I paused your video.
We don't have to play. You don't have to play it. It's over. The thought was over.
But I just needed to share.
There's actually an outtake where I deep throat it. Didn't spill a drop.
All right, let me find Tyler.
I would expect nothing less.
What the fuck is that? Spin. Said. I'm trying to think what he sounds like.
Nope, John Young.
I know. There's not even him on his own page. It's like
It's just
everybody
John
else.
Young.
It's literally John Young on Tyler's page. That's it.
Here.
Oh, there you go. You got one?
I'm saying an MSU. I honestly don't know who's going to win that game. His is an octave higher, I think.
Yeah. You have a grown ass man's voice.
To me, that's like like cowboy accent. Like that's what I would have called that growing up. Is like that's like cowboy accent. That's how we would have done his voice. Yeah.
Standy, what's up? He knows what gets views. Yeah. Have you got a chocolate dick yet? You don't know that one? Never mind. He doesn't know, Kenneth. Calm down.
Has he ever gone cow tipping?
No, I don't actually think that's the thing. Is it?
It isn't.
It is.
The US.
I don't think it is though, really. It's
Is
not
it really
an actual it's not a like a biological fact that they fall over when you touch them.
Oh, well then screw the movie Cars. That's where I learned it, was Mater flipping over,
Yep.
like going cow tipping.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
The Cars movies.
All right, guys.
Maybe it is a thing.
I have no idea.
Anna keeps correcting me about Europe. I'm not talking about Europe or England. I live in Ireland. I'm talking about Ireland. So she corrected me earlier on and said, we do have skyscrapers, just not in Ireland. It's like, yeah, I can only go off my own
Ireland.
I have seen skyscrapers before, which is not as plentiful as they are in the United States of America. Now, granted, all my experience of America largely has been inner city, or in a very, very built up area. Where the fuck were we? Was it Madison, where I went to see Taylor had rented an Airbnb out in the middle of nowhere, and I drove out from where the hotel I was staying at out to his house, and honestly, there was no like network, no, what do you guys call it, cell service, no cell service, no like street lights, no signposts, no markings on the road, no nothing. I was like, cool. So I have no way of telling my wife I love her before I die, because that's fucking inevitable. And then it was just like, I saw his car and I was like, oh, I'm here. Fine.
Oh shit. All right, guys. It's been a great day. Hour and 40 this morning, hour and 40 right now with the great Pedro White, who I always love. Your name's not Peter anymore, I guess.
No, I'm happy.
Nobody
I don't
tells you that.
The great Pedro White. We thank you, dude, for hanging out and catching up. It's always good to have a fun conversation with you and just chill and find out
Thanks
about.
for having me. Appreciate it.
And hopefully we'll find out what happens after you go hang out with the boys for whichever.
You going to Wadapalooza?
You're going to Wadapalooza, right? And then
Are you going to NorCal?
or NorCal?
I'm going to Wadapalooza, and I think I might be going to Syndicate. I think.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I think.
Very cool.
Cool.
See. But I think so.
Yeah, you're right, Kenneth. The incomparable Pedro White. You are correct. That will be the next title of the show. So
Incompetent.
well, what did you?
What's
what were
the
you,
what's
what did
what's
they-
when, what's when you impotent?
All right, we love you all. Thanks for hanging out.
Bye, guys.
Deuces. Shit.